so cold. I think it's maybe like -7, -6 or something, which is so unusual for here. So I have some really exciting things to share with you, so let me get situated and we will get chatting. I have a really fun update for you guys. I hinted at this in a couple videos last year because I've been working on this for a full year now, but I am in the Enchanted Living Winter Witch edition and I am so excited. This is such a surreal moment for me. I actually had it on my vision board that I wanted to be featured as an artist in this magazine. I think it's been on my vision board for about 5 years, and I made it happen, and I just feel like this is a really surreal moment for me and for Ken, who took the photos of me that are in here using his wet plate camera. You gonna find the basket? Enchanted Living is a UK publication. It also goes by the name Fairy Magazine, and they are incredible. What are you doing? It's a quarterly magazine, and last year every edition that they did was a witchcraft edition. So Spring Witch, Summer Witch, Fall Witch, and Winter Witch. And I was actually going to be in a different edition, and we just kept getting pushed until it was the right fit, and Winter Witch was the right fit. And so I want to show you where we are at. We have 3 full pages. And one of the most exciting parts of it is that the photo of my familiar Binks and I is one of the photos that was chosen. So to be in this magazine, I submitted photos that Ken and I had taken. All of them were wet plates that we've taken. Ken has been photographing my spiritual journey for the last decade using tintypes and glass plates through the wet plate collodion process. I waited until we had the right photos to submit that really told a story, and then Carolyn Turgeon, who runs the magazine, she wrote an article about me. So you'll have to get the magazine to read the article, but the gist is that it talks about my witchcraft journey and where I'm at with my relationship with nature and my craft, and it also talks about me creating this enchanted forest and cleaning up all of the garbage that I did to build it. And so it's just such an honor to be in this magazine and be in here with all of these other incredible witches and artists. There are so many amazing things in here. I have several editions of this magazine, and one of their coolest editions that they did was an Outlander magazine, and they worked with Diana Gabaldon, who wrote Outlander and created Outlander. And so this is a very cool magazine. It's just such a big moment for me, and so I want to share about the process that it took to get the photos that they selected, because I have footage from each of these photos, and I will link those videos down below so you can watch those full videos. But I'm gonna share some clips now and just talk about what each photo means. So I want to start with this one. This is my Witchcraft Portrait. So Ken and I took this photo in, I think it was September 2022, or maybe the beginning of October 2022. It is taken on tin, and what's really important about this photo is that I consider it my witchcraft portrait. It feels like a culmination of my craft and my path. And in the photo, I'm holding the very first broom that I ever made, and I'm wearing the dress that I wore when I did my first pagan hand fasting. And yeah, it just has a lot of symbolism for me. I feel like I look most like myself in this photo, and it just feels like I'm standing my ground in a way. I am reclaiming my power. And yeah, I just really love this photo. It really means a lot to me. And also the camera that we used for all of these is, oh no wait, the camera that we took for the 2 full-size photos is a 1902 like Victorian camera. Then we used a different camera that he calls Catherine the Great for this photo, which is one of my Morticia photos. If you've been here for a while, then you know that I did a Morticia themed photo shoot with Ken. So that is this first portrait, and yeah, it's a very personal photo for me. The next photo I want to talk about is, of course, my Binks photo. And this was, you know, at the time I didn't know what this photo would symbolize down the line. Binks was just a kitten when we took this photo. We took this in the fall of 2019. And what's really interesting about this photo, and someone just pointed this out to me, is that he moved a little bit during the photo, and so part of him is kind of blurred and he looks like a ghost. And so yeah, obviously you all know that Binks died. He was killed tragically, and so that whole experience has been one of the most profound parts of my spiritual journey, my human journey, and it is the reason that I have Winnie. And so I always joke with Winnie that he's playing with ghost Binks, and so when someone pointed that out to me just last week, it kind of really clicked for me that this photo was always meant to be. And so yeah, it's just a very special photo to me. I have this framed in my office. There's a quote here that I want to read you, and I said, "To me, witchcraft means becoming my own healer so that I can reclaim my personal power and my magic." And that is exactly what these photos represent to me. Yeah, I just feel so honored. I feel so honored, and I feel so blessed that this moment with Binks is forever sealed in this magazine, and that it was on my vision board, and that I worked towards this for so many years, working towards my path and my craft to take photos like this that really represent my energy and my craft and my path. It's just such a blessing, and yeah, it's just so special that they chose this photo of me and Binks to be in the article. And now I was joking with Ken that we need to get a really great one of Winnie. We did take a wet plate of Winnie when he was a kitten, but he moved too much and all you can really see are all his ear whiskers. It's so cute. So moving back to the front of the article, this is one of my Morticia portraits, and I think it's so beautiful in this oval. We took two Morticia portraits, Ken and I, and we took them after we took these Morticia photos, that's when I knew it was time for me to reach out to the magazine and submit our photos. I felt like I had a complete collection that really represented our creativity and my path. And so right after we took these photos and I received them back from Ken is when I emailed the magazine, and we took these at the end of, actually I think it was the week before Valentine's Day of last year. And so this is a replica of that really famous image of Morticia cutting a rose. And so we're cutting this I'm cutting this like prickly little plant thing that Ken had in his studio. And this one was taken on glass. So this is what I have been working on and keeping a secret. And I just feel so blessed to be featured with these artists and these witches in this magazine. This cover is just so stunning. It's so beautiful. It's something that I feel like it's like in your head, and to be able to bring an image like this into reality is so special, and I feel so honored to be in this edition. And yeah, I felt like I really wanted to share this with you because I had footage from the photos that we had taken, and I really wanted to revisit that, but I also really wanted to tell a story of the things that you envision in your head can become your reality. You just have to do the work, and you have to ask for what you want. And this is proof that that can happen. And so I just want to say a huge thank you to Enchanted Living Magazine and to Ken. Ken does so much work when we do our photo shoots, and I am so grateful and so blessed to have met Ken all those years ago. I actually met Ken when I was a museum curator, and I was curating an exhibit on local farm culture, and he had done an exhibit photographing different farmers around this region, and that's how we met. Actually, yeah, maybe I'll put the first photo that Ken took of me versus my witchcraft portrait, because I feel like you can really see the difference in my energy and just who I am. You can really see that I've really shifted into, you know, my most authentic self, or, you know, trying to. So one of the things that I want to touch on is Soul and Seline, which is featured heavily in the article. Soul and Seline is my brand, my witchcraft brand, which has had many different life cycles throughout the years. And I have this brand to help witches and help earth-based people. I really use my spiritual journey and my witchcraft path as an example, and I make offerings off of the things that I've learned about the universe and the earth and myself. And so I have lots to share on there. I have lots of free resources, and I also have paid offerings, and it's just a really great hub for witches and earth-based people. And so I have my Instagram and my website at Soul and Seline. Soul and Seline means sun and moon in Roman and Greek mythology, and I chose that because I have a really deep history with classical history. I studied Roman and Greek history in university, and I trained to be an archaeologist, and I ended up being a museum curator. I'm no longer in that profession, but that's where I was for, 8 years. I was a museum curator. I've been really heavily influenced by classical mythology and classical history on my spiritual path. Many of you have heard me talk about my relationship with the snake goddess, which I'll talk about another time, but that is a classical connection of mine that I have. And so it really made sense for me to name Soul and Seline with a nod to Roman and Greek history, because that was one of the beginning parts of my spiritual path, and so I really wanted to acknowledge that. Soul and Seline also represents the light and the dark that lives within all of us, the life force energy, and my journey of reconnecting with my life force energy and helping other people to do that as well. So if any of this interests you, please go check out my Instagram and my website at Soul and Seline, especially if you are a witch or an earth-based person. I think that you'll find a lot of value there, and I would also just really love to connect with you. And so please leave a comment, go check out my offerings, go check out this magazine, and see my dreams come to life. Get that digital version if you don't want to wait or you can't order one. So I just really want to say thank you to Ken. He has just been such a great friend and collaborator on my path. And so I will see you next time. I will see you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.